So it was straightforward enough. Like, why do you want to be a social worker? What do you want to do with it? Where have you worked before? That's most of it. What the fuck is that? I don't even know. Okay. And
It gives us the link to the application, but we can't write up.
correct. You are welcome to download and then just copy paste into Word or like type it up in Word if that's easiest. Most people like copy the whole thing, paste it into Word, and type it up from there. This is interesting.
In a neglected home for years. Let's listen on live now from Fox. Some of this content could be very, very hard to really retain here. So,
Have you guys taken our Child and Family Services yet?
Details of this case.
This looks like it's
arrived at in
Child and Family Services.
But the mother still would not allow him to see the kids. So that's what we've learned so far, at least preliminarily. We're going to go back and double check all these timelines and that kind of information. So he, in essence, had lost contact with the kids. And that's where that stood. So we've had questions about that. The other questions that we've had was, who were the other people potentially dropping food at the house other than the mother?
All right, I'm going to skip ahead to that.
You know, as I had mentioned with these pictures, trash was piled, you know, in some places 3 and 4 foot high. Everything was covered with feces and trash.
That's like mental health.
The toilet had become non-functional, and the bathtub was filled with feces. You know, I mean, that's the kind of situation these poor kids had been living in for years, not just hours or days, for years. And so when you have the complete lack of hygiene, a complete breakdown of basic living conditions that they were subjected to. And to get a little deeper into that, detectives have narrowed down the initial abandonment they believe to be somewhere in the spring to summer of 2020.
Hello.
Obviously, COVID played a little
What's
part
that?
in the disconnect potentially with the schools and school
Classrooms. People always find us.
Yeah, Eric's out.
In 2020, the mother
So you
dropped off
just
some
need-
trash
let's
bags,
go there.
gloves, and
All right, excuse me for one
That was
second.
about the last thing related
You're right
to
here.
hygiene.
Fall, right?
2020,
12 hours.
in the height of COVID. Okay. Towards the end, the children apparently were getting a loaf of bread dropped off that was intended to last 3 to 4 days. So, I mean, obviously on so many levels, the conditions are horrendous and the situation terrible. So what we're trying to do in the meantime, and as it relates specifically to the case, the preliminary report has been turned over to the prosecutor. We're adding some more stuff for them. They're in the process of determination. When I heard about this, I called her on the weekend and let her know it was coming, and she has her staff queued up, and they're in that process. As it relates to the kids, the first thing we wanted to do is obviously get them safe and to get them clean and get them enclosed. And I will say we have one of the most generous communities, I think, in the world. We put on there that we needed clothing, and this is just a tiny sample of what we've received. At the office of another office of ours, we have bags and bags. So we don't need any more clothing. We greatly appreciate it. The family and the kids greatly appreciate it. And so we're kind of pivoting now to financial support. And we have put up a link, if you will, to the Charity Mission Oakland. And 100% of it will go to the kids. Unlike some of the traditional fundraising methodologies you see out there, they take a percentage. 100% of this will go to the kids. What I am asking is, again, our generous viewers and listeners out there and readers, we're looking for a law firm that would set up a trust fund so that we can take 100% of what we receive in donations for these kids and put it in a trust that can be administered, that can take care of maybe their medical bills, mental health, visits, and if there's any overage, maybe set some money aside for their future education. This is going to be a long
So if any of you have taken
so we'd like to be able to
JFS yet, Jobs and Family Services with Karen, she may be using this case. Did you come in when they had the pictures?
I don't know.
It's kind of heartbreaking, I think, for the
kids. Greatly appreciate it. And so we're kind of pivoting now to
this is what they were living in.
Functional, and the bathtub was filled with feces.
That's
I mean, that's the kind of situation these poor kids have been living in for years. Not just hours or days.
so did this just because literally this is live. They're doing it. Unless if I'm way behind, 6 days ago. Okay. They filmed it live 6 days ago. So Ashford. Were you going to present today on a major mental health issue? Yes, no, maybe. You can present from your phone, I promise. I said, were you going to present today about the major mental health disorder?
I think I only got like a slide yesterday.
Okay, that's fine. Just asking. Ashford. You can go Thursday. Gosh, is it already Tuesday again? I keep on thinking stuff will slow down, and it doesn't. Ashford.
Do we put your name for, I discussed formal admission to the CSO social work program or attended orientation to the social work program faculty member? Or do we just put like your name?
You can put me, that's fine. Dr. Nikita Jackson will do the field orientation. So all of you guys, wherever you finish at, your field orientation will be with Dr. Nikita Jackson. We all have to do 400 hours to get your BSW.
What is this? Why? Like,
What is what did you say?
what is that? Like,
When you do field, it's usually, so if you're going to do it your fall semester senior year, you'll do it a field orientation. More than likely, you could do it your junior year. Are you a junior?
yeah.
So you could do it now if you want to do field in the fall. If you're going to do field in the spring, she'll probably do it like August, September, October-ish. Did you guys know you had field as like part of social work?
No.
So that is how we basically get trained to get the licensure. Like I think when I did my field, it was at a homeless shelter. The best training I had was live from people that were doing it. I did a homeless shelter in Lexington, Kentucky. And so that was helpful because they're real-time people that were doing that stuff. And it gets you practiced up. This is the one we just finished. That's interesting. Why is it not finding any of them? It probably was on the flip-flopped computer. So we finished infancy, how marital interactions affect you. Would you guys say any of your upbringing, mom, dad, or whoever was your caretaker had effect on your behaviors today?
What you mean?
Like how you react to people, if your parents fly off the handle, I fly off the handle, or if like they're calm about shit, they can take it as it comes. You know what I mean? Like we all kind of, I grew up in like a screaming, yelling environment, like chaos kind of, you know, like, and that's what I inherited. So in marriage, I've had to learn to undo that. You know what I mean? Like learn how to use compassionate communication and like nonviolent communication. So they're saying these marital interactions or family stress do affect the baby's response, even at a young age. So, yep.
I'm also was in a chaos household.
Huh?
For me, I didn't want to. I don't like to scream. Like, if you scream at me, I don't like it. I don't want to talk.
Right. Yeah. I'm the same way where I kind of like run away from it almost. Like I don't like confrontation so much.
Yeah, I don't either.
At the same time, life always has confrontation. You know what I mean? Like, so how do I handle it? One is, and maybe I'll put it up into here for you guys. It's a book by Dr. Marshall Rosenberg called Nonviolent Communication. And that's been like my saving grace. I did the whole book. They have training support groups to learn how to speak that way. And it helped me with jobs, like when we were only getting paid 30 cents a mile and gas went up to $4 a gallon. The 4 points of that speaking style is observation, feeling, deed, and request. Like when I see gas at $4 a gallon and we get 30 cents a mile and federal pays 58 cents a mile, I feel concerned. I can't do my job. Can you get us 58 cents? It's a weird way to talk, but it gets right to the point. And the dude's like, yeah, we'll give you 58 cents a mile. It like doubled our mileage checks. I was getting 500 a month to drive. God, it was like 1,200 miles. And it went to 1,000 a month to be able to drive and see, just for mileage alone, as gas was so high. So it is a form of communication. Let's see if I can switch out to here quick. And I'll give you guys the book. I downloaded it free. We actually trained our whole entire agency in nonviolent communication. Let's hope this works. Come on. Yeah. Okay. Hello. How are you?
Good.
That's good. So, nonviolent communication is a style. They have some for kids. I do announcements only because it emails you guys the announcement. And like, so NVC book, and then it is also cnvc.org is their website. It's also known as Compassionate. Compassionate communication. Do you guys have any good editing software you use? I need some. Grammarly. Anybody pay for Grammarly? Is it expensive?
I use Word.
Yeah, Word is getting better, isn't it?
Yeah, get better. Grammarly is okay. I
Okay.
used it in high school, but
Right.
it would sometimes mess some things up. I don't know if they fix that or not.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I also have the workbook. So like unlearning the chaotic, screaming, yelling family that I came from. I still love them to death. They're my family, but like they just didn't know how to talk. So like doing these exercises was a lifesaver. You know what I mean? Is because you carry that into your future relationship. So like if all I've ever known how to get my needs met is that form of communication, and I don't practice anything different, I'm not going to do anything different. Or like you said, maybe I'll run away from it. Somebody starts yelling at me, I just like turn tail and run. Like you ain't talking to me that way. So to learn how to still meet the needs, here's the book. I do like this. It's hot linked, so you guys can click through it. That's kind of small. I love hot link books though, but here's your chapters. Giving from the heart, communication that blocks compassion, observing without evaluating. So a lot of times with a screaming, yelling, judgmental household, that's all you see and hear is like, evaluations, judgments. So this is like saying when I hear you raising your voice that way, I love page 45. It has identifying your feelings. So it has a list of feelings. And then also unmet needs and feelings. So it's usually chapter 4 on page 45. And it has the whole list of these that and even this was helpful in practice. Words like ignored express how we interpret others, not feeling. So you can't feel ignored. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like that seems like a normal one. Like I feel ignored when you say it. So here's some of the words like I feel abandoned. Well, you can't actually feel abandoned. I feel betrayed. It's a judgment on others. Like here's the actual list of feelings is down one. So like absorbed, adventurous, alert, when your needs are met. Or if your needs are unmet, it's down here. afraid, aggravated, agitated, alarmed. Like we're used to the simple happy, mad, glad, sad. So this is helpful in practice. I use this with a lot of folks in the private practice. So the list of feelings, and then furthermore, the list of needs, I've already blown past it. Let me make sure. Yeah. So here's all of the needs section. So you guys have a copy of this. But the need to celebrate, the need for authenticity, a need for meaning or self-worth, spiritual communion or physical nurturance. This is a big one. So we say this often in social work. If your basic physical needs are not met, first, it's hard to get counseling in the first place. Like if you're homeless, if you're living like in that picture that we just saw, and I'll go back to it for those of you that just came in, this video is kind of heartbreaking, but this is some of the stuff that we see in social work. This was live 6 days ago. So in Detroit or Michigan, anybody from Michigan? This is what.
Trash was piled.
Oh,
Some places
I forgot this one's not.
4 foot
Here's what they were.
high. Everything was covered with feces, trash. The toilet had become non-functional.
So if you're living in that, it's going to be hard to go to a counselor and talk about shit. You know what I mean? Like until that gets cleaned up and you're in a safe living environment.
Had been living in for years.
I guess their toilet didn't work. You can see like diarrhea flowing over the toilet. So that's why like food, rest, shelter, that would be under shelter, touch, water, like clean water, like until those basic needs are met, you're not going to talk to somebody about like feelings or desire to get high school educated, college educated, to get a job. Like, so often in social work, how we get people first is if they are homeless and we're taking them in at a homeless shelter and starting from ground zero. So starting at the base and then building up from there. Ideally getting to this last one here, like there is still a need for play, like fun and laughter. So with that being said, I'm going to also step back to self-care. If you've had me in class before, you have seen this, and I apologize, but this is always the time of the semester. Everybody gets sick. Everybody has things come up. There's some type of family emergency. Self-care. Didn't I just see it? Oh, yeah, that's the. So has anybody talked with you guys ever yet about self-care?
What you mean? Like taking care of yourself?
Yep. Like, how do you take care of yourself? Oh, there it is. Boom. It's all a recovered file. So this is a good start as a social worker because we're always focused on everybody else's needs. The lives of others, their hopes, their dreams, their goals, their pains are in focus. And it says, like a leaf under the microscope, we see all of this in highly illuminated detail. As a counseling therapist, teacher, the other gets our attention. So we get so many clients, you can overwhelm yourself. You forget to eat right. You forget to drink right. You forget to sleep right. And the point of this is we can't take care of others until we take care of ourselves. And that's like a hard one to get until you get out and practice. But here's why. It says the importance of self-care for service providers. So counselors and crisis responders are in direct contact with individuals encountering extremely difficult and emotional events. As such, we're at risk for becoming emotionally overwhelmed and stressed out ourselves. Because like you see that picture of that nasty toilet, that brings up some emotion. You know what I mean? Like I want to save that kid from having to take a dump on that diarrhea-filled covered toilet. That's gross. And we do have clean places that they could go. You know what I mean? That's why we do have JFS, CPS, and that doesn't mean take them from their home permanently. Take them till whatever was going on with mom to where she couldn't get the house orderly is done. Maybe it was addictions, maybe it was alcohol, maybe it was something else. They take care of it, families reunified. And it may take some teaching in the meantime. When I see that, I get stressed out. So I need to learn how to, be objective. If it's not properly managed, stress can lead to impairment of your job duties. Indeed, research confirms counselor self-care is correlated to the counselor's ability to meet clients' needs. So say you get too many clients, also why they usually have a certain number. I feel like 20 is common. When I worked at Lighthouse, I got 20 clients, and you do 20 billable hours a week and maybe write notes. Don't ever go over the 20 billable hours a week because you will experience burnout. And that's been researched far and wide. So we look at burnout here. We look at stressors. We look at self-care, and then emptying your cup. So they call it secondary traumatic stress and compassion fatigue. It's a set of symptoms that may occur in service providers working with individuals in trauma or crisis, which, like I said, a lot of folks come to us. Are all of you social work majors? I ask this a lot, but I get sometimes different people online watching it here or in person. Are you a social work major? Mm-hmm. Social work. Okay. So we get people that are stressed out. Then it affects us. And here's what we can experience from that. Re-experiencing flashbacks, nightmares, arousal, anxiety, hyperactivity, and avoidance. Some compassion fatigue symptoms are like avoidance, maybe like I call in sick. I don't even want to go to the job because I'm like, I want to see that family today. Or persistent arousal. And this is without self-care. So if I do the proper self-care, I know what my job duties are. I'm able to be effective and not let it drain me so much. If I don't do the self-care, I could have difficulty separating my work from my personal life. Like I want to go after the job to go remove the kid. And that's JFS's. Some of you may work for JFS. Anybody interested in doing child welfare? It's a tough job, but
What did you have?
His job's in family services. So like if the kids are living in that picture that I just showed you, you would have to get them to safety, maybe get mom treatment, and then reunite the family after everything's healed. Yeah.
What if you're trying to work at a school, like a high school?
Yeah.
You have to do that.
You would report it to JFS, correct?
So what about CPS?
It's often the same. Child protectives. Every city calls it something different. But what'd you ask?
Is that the same thing?
I wonder, my mom worked at CPS.
She does. It's a hard job. Yeah. Right. It's not impossible. Obviously, they're recruiting. It is. So again, the more important to do this self-care so you don't experience compassion fatigue, because you could even have loss of hope, helplessness, even like confusion, like what the hell am I doing? And then burnout. So, and for real, like counselors who are burnout will experience depleted energy, decreased effectiveness.
I need fixing, like, because you will get burned out.
You could, yeah. So a lot of times making sure you have the proper supervision and venting about it, knowing how you're going to have a solution for it. Like there are things in place to like get the kids into a safe, clean place, maybe get mom into recovery, whatever it may be. And then knowing that they'll be reunited when that recovery occurs. You know what I mean? Like that's.
So what do we do if we're dealing with someone that like had to see a therapist, but they don't want to see a therapist, like they don't want help, but like we have to see them?
A kid or an adult?
Like
because a kid usually is signed up by their parents against their will. That's almost normal. I got one last night. He was 16. He didn't want to be there. I just connected with him. Like you find ways to connect, like talk about real shit and let them know you're not there against them, that you know, and sometimes you won't convince them and that sucks, but you do what you can. Of course. Yeah, especially men are renowned for it. Men don't want to do it. So knowing that counseling is voluntary, it's okay if they don't. Maybe you plant a good seed and they'll come back when they're ready. Adults definitely don't have to go, but they could be court ordered.
I was just about to say,
Yep.
like court mandated when
They could. I get them all the time.
or like anger management.
Uh-huh. I get them all the time, and I'm like, you have no goals you can identify, but I want to get you graduated. Is that a good enough goal for you? They're like, yeah. So usually, like, let's get you out of here. I don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. Let's get this shit done. You know what I mean? Like, be real with them, and they appreciate that. So other burnout, if you don't take care of yourself, disillusionment, boredom, errors and accidents, especially on like paperwork that we were talking about before, impatience and irritability, physical depletion, withdrawing from relationships, even grandiosity. So again, you've got to do self-care. And one last slide, if you don't do self-care, here's all the shit that could go down. Or what you could have. So the deadly dozen. You could have a toxic supervisor or like no support, like bad colleague support, like they hate their job. All you hear is them bitching about it. Little fun, like they don't have humor or laughing in life or in work. This is written weird, but this is why it's so important. I always stress you guys get understanding of what your own needs are, especially at the job. Like, what is your contract? You've got to see 20 hours of clients a week. Maybe you can only get a half an hour out of a client because they don't really want to see you. So sometimes they'll give you more clients and then you can meet the hours that way. And then you close the ones that don't want to see you. There's plenty of clients that could be seen. That way you have less fuzzy and less inarticulated understanding of your needs. No professional development. So that means every job you go to, you're going to be trained. You're going to train how to see folks in addiction recovery. You're going to be trained how to see folks in jobs and family services. You'll be trained in hospice. Whatever you go to, you're going to have a specialized training for that job. That's just how it goes. You're not going to walk on the dance floor and know how to dance right when, the first day you're doing it. So that's important. No energy-giving personal life. So what are some examples of no energy-giving personal life, if you think about it? Like if it's written kind of in reverse, but like if you have a personal life that, one example I give a lot, because in college, like to blow steam off, maybe you go to a bar every Friday and every Saturday, but then you're tired and hungover Sunday and even Monday. You know what I mean? So not to say you can't drink, but like if that's all your self-care consists of is drinking, you might want to reconsider, because that does a toll on your body. You know what I mean? I've tried that before. I never succeeded. Inability to say no to unreasonable requests. We all have to learn how to, again, use that nonviolent communication book and make a reasonable request. Learn how to say no. They'll be like, oh, you've done so good with these 20 clients, 20 hours a week. Do you want a 21st client? A 20? You're like, no, the contract says 20. Now, if you're going to pay me overtime, maybe I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of them do. I still say stick with 20. Don't burn yourself out. There are some special folks, in a good way special, that can see 30 hours of clients a week. And they make a fortune, 35 clients a week. So you get, at the private practice, 50, even at Lighthouse, they will give you 40 an hour. And if you did 20 hours a week, billable, you could make like 80,000 a year. So like hospice is starting folks at 75 to 80,000 a year. And that's just with your MSW, LSW. So you get your 3.5 years done here, your 11 months done for your master's degree, and get your license. And they're hiring. That is a livable wage. When I started, it was only 35,000 a year, and I bought a house with that. So you also could have vicarious traumatization, like seeing clients and you see the place they live in, and maybe it even gives you a flashback of childhood, like something that happened to you in childhood. So making sure you take care of your own stuff. You also may have a lot of personal relationships that are predominantly one way, caring relationships with self as giver. So you're giving all day at work, then you come home and you're giving all day in your relationship, And then you're supposed to rest up at night and you don't even do that because you just give. So you got to find ways to replenish yourself. And this, sometimes we have to learn it by suffering first, or you can read a freaking PowerPoint in class like today and get it. Like, okay, I got to take care of myself. Or constant perfectionism and work tasks. Like, you're not going to have a perfect note the first year you see clients and write notes. You're going to get better every time, but it's never going to be perfect out of the gate. So just know it's okay, and you work with a supervisor. Continual unresolved ambiguous professional losses. Maybe your supervisor quit, then your boss quit, then your clinical supervisor quit, and now you're in charge. You don't know what the hell you're doing. So like, watch out for an agency like that. Like, if you're going to go get hired somewhere, ask other people that have worked there. Go on, is it Glassdoor? You can see how a job is, or Indeed. Have you guys looked those up before? And it'll give a rating of the place you're hiring at. If you have a strong need to be needed, that can be dangerous. So watch out for that. And then finally, professional success is defined solely by clients or student success or patient positive, because not all of, especially in addiction, it's like 50% fail and relapse and 50% recover and get recovered. So knowing you gave it your best and they still failed, and that's acceptable. Like, you're not a bad person because they drank again. So there are also stressors for a novice provider. Like, you guys will start your internships. Are all of you sophomores in here except for one junior? Freshman? Junior, sophomore. So you're getting a good early intro to this. You will be a novice service provider. Maybe you already have a job where you guys have to do lead. Have you ever had a camp counselor job, or like
I was a teacher.
Okay. So that's another one where, like, how hard was that?
That was hard.
See?
I was stressed out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking I was talking to one of my students. And he was like, hey, sit there. And I realized I was in my bed. I'm like, oh, man.
Like I said, sit down. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's tough. So and this is a good point. So while educational experiences are aimed at preparing new professionals for a successful career, often they cannot adequately prepare students for the variety of challenges they will face. So that's why we have field internship. Your junior or senior year, you'll do field, and you'll get on the job training. You know what I mean? Like, that's the most important thing you'll ever get. That's for me what's saved me, is I learned how to do it. I think that's the same slide twice. I don't know why the heck I did that. Maybe I added to it and then I was going to delete it. But here are, okay, wellness begins before you take the job. And this could be jobs you take this summer. How many of you are going to work a job this summer?
I'm trying to get it.
Okay. So I know this sounds weird because you want to show them you're the best candidate for getting that job, but remember to ask questions about them. Like, what does a break look like? What does a successful person at this job look like? What am I expected to do? That way you know what you have to do to be successful. It's not like, I'll do whatever you say. A contract and a job is two ways. Like, they promise you this much pay and work environment. You promise them these many hours. So it's a two-way street. I know when I'm younger, I didn't see that. I wasn't like, am I able to ask questions? No, I just do whatever they say. Actually, yes, you can ask questions. Even negotiate. Like, the more jobs you've had, negotiate when you're being hired, especially in counseling or social work. And here's the things. Well, before I put the list up, what questions do you think you would ask as a new social worker about the job? What would you ask when you're getting hired that won't piss them off or seem rude? Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Anybody else? I don't know if that's small enough you can read it or not. These are the list I came up with is right here. If you can cheat and read it, go ahead and read one off. I don't know how small it is on the board. All right, here you go. So, points to consider. Mileage. I mentioned that. As a lot of times nowadays, your clients don't have a car, so you're driving to them. So, you want to know you're being reimbursed fairly for mileaging up your car, whatever you call it. You know what I mean? You're driving, it's like DoorDash or Grubhub. They got to pay you. If your car blows up, you're not doing the job. So, they got to give a fair, they weren't overpaying you. Remember to get vacation time. I know that sounds weird, but whenever you get a full-time job, you are semi entitled to get a sick day or a vacation day. You know what I mean? Anybody ever had a job where you get sick or vacation? I don't think I got it until I was graduating. How many did you get?
I got 40 hours of vacation and then 40 hours of sick.
That's pretty solid. What was the job?
I was a manager at Goodwill.
Okay. So that's 8 weeks a year?
No, just
1 day. Wait, 1 week. 1 week. So 2 weeks a year. Okay. I was doing the math wrong. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying 40 days. I'm like, but that's still generous. So you got your 2 weeks. What was the pay, if you don't mind sharing? You don't have to if you don't want to.
it was 13 an hour.
So 26,000 a year. How long did you work there?
2 years.
Okay. And you used your sick pay or vacation day ever? A lot of times you're afraid when you're a new employee. Like, I shouldn't be sick.
I let it all build up until I was about to leave.
And then usually they'll pay you out when you leave for vacation, but not sick time. And what other tricky ass model they do, I was at a place 4 years, they turn your vacation time into sick time if you don't use it, because they don't have to pay you out for sick time. And I left with 400 hours of sick time. They didn't pay me $10,000 at 25 an hour. I was freaking pissed. So just remember, like when you do those, did you just recently leave? Okay. Do they have retirement too?
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Right. So it's a good one to ask. Don't be afraid to. Is a lot of places will match 1, 2, 3, 4%. And if you don't put anything in, they won't put anything in. But if you put in, say, 5% of your 20,000, I'm not great with math, but I think that's $1,000. They're going to put $1,000 in your retirement too. So to me, that seems like an extra $1,000. Yeah, you won't see it till retirement, but that's an extra $1,000 sitting there. So ask about retirement. Ask about cost of living raises. Right now, you can't survive without a cost of living raise. Like inflation is 10%. Anybody bought a dozen eggs in the past 2 weeks? It literally went from $2.75 a dozen to $5.25 a dozen. Yeah. Housing. You don't like eggs? Right. I heard I don't know what restaurant, but they're adding $1 surcharge per egg. Are they? Dear Lord. Yeah. Are the Coney's expensive? Is it Coney Island or they call it something else? Yeah. Is that for like a hot dog surcharge?
No, they sell breakfast.
Mm,
They
mm,
sell
mm,
eggs and stuff like that, sandwiches and stuff. And they make it $2.
It's expensive. So that's why ask this question. You know what I mean? Not so many times that you're going to be fired or not get the job, but ask good questions. It doesn't mean that you're saying you're being a jerk. And then look up the workplace culture. You could ask about it, but also look it up. Did Goodwill have Easter seals there too? Okay. And then with your license, will you get supervision? Do you have to pay for an outside supervisor? That alone saves you $7,000 a year. Because if you're paying to get supervised at $50 an hour, that's what a lot of supervisors cost. 50 every week is 50 times 50 weeks a year. I think it's $2,500. Am I doing that math right? What is 50 times 50? Who's our mathematician here? I'll do it on this one. Don't these things have Siri nowadays? I swear it did. Like one of these things. Oh, it is 2,500. You often get supervised for 2 years. So, all right. So Also, right finance is a key to wellness. So, in a field that often begins with low wage, it's important to keep track of all expenses and financial obligations. And that's hard to do. I'm sure you guys have challenges like that. Mismanagement of finances can quickly lead to unnecessary stress because it's like, I don't even have money to buy groceries this week. So, there are many sources found online and in your library. Anybody heard of Dave Ramsey before?
That sounds familiar. What do you do?
Oh, he's that financial guy.
He is. He's kind of a, a tough guy. Right. Let's see. Does anybody have Karen Johnson Jordan in class yet? Because that's the other JFS class. All right. Self-care. This may look weird, but we're calling it emptying the cup. So this is how you do your self-care. Imagine yourself as a cup. I know that sounds weird as hell, but just imagine you're a cup. You can spend your workday hearing the stories of others, being with them in their pain and joy. You also have your own stories, your own pain and joy, your own family. Eventually, your cup becomes full. Some days it's overflowing. You feel that you can't hear one more story of pain. You might snap at a loved one, as that's who we see the most. You come home like, why didn't you do them damn dishes? I just want to cook and go to bed. You might feel like sleeping all day, like Saturday. You just pass out. Self-care is what you do to empty your cup. It's critical that you empty it every day so you can re-engage in your life and your work and have an effective, healthy way. Here's some things to do. Take a long walk, meditate, pray, talk with a friend, listen to music, take a bath, play with animals, ride a bike, sit in the sun, eat lunch outside, paint. I can't see that one, but it says stars at the end. Maybe look at the stars. Drink tea and dance, draw, journal, cook, read, smell flowers, jog, get a pedicure, do yoga, play soccer, lay in the grass, stretch, go to church or temple, play a game, swim, anything you guys. What do you all do for self-care? What is your self-care choice?
I'll go to a park. Like, no. I usually, if when it's hot, I'll go behind Anderson, behind that rubble, and I'll play some music. I'll just look at the sun going down.
They got that gravel driveway.
Yeah.
And then does it set, as I used to run that, and then I think it goes up a little bit.
Yeah. But like if you go past the rocks,
Yep.
and like where the boat is, it's like a chair.
Okay.
And you just sit there.
Because it's also where the dudes dump all the mulch and flowers and all that crap too, I think.
Yeah.
Walking's huge. You'll see me almost every day as I park a half mile away by the cops to plug in, and I'll walk a half mile. I'll try to walk every day or run at the, is it NPG? And yeah. What do you all do for self-care? Anybody else? Anybody?
I do my lashes.
Lashes?
Yeah.
Isn't that expensive?
No.
No?
Now.
My home girl though for free.
Okay.
I do my own.
Okay.
They be charging on the
That's good. And it beats drinking and a hangover. Is drinking's expensive now too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
If you paying for it.
Right.
that.
I never could get away with not paying for it. I'm a dude, but
Yeah, I'm
I
a
don't
sugar.
know.
Yeah. As a girl, it's just easy.
I would imagine.
It's easy.
It almost seems like a snake pit violin though. They're like, doo, 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 like, why are you buying all these drinks? So, and again, like not to say don't do some of the unhealthy things, but don't overdo it where it's like overtaking your life. You know what I mean? That's, yeah,
What are the unhealthy?
drinking every night. You'll get sick. Your body will run down. I mean, I tried it. I drink every night.
No, I can't.
I had to quit. I haven't drank. What's that?
Is that why you drink the stuff in your bottle now? Like you drink like,
I still have a drinking problem. I just haven't touched alcohol since 1997. It's been
That's a long
27
time.
years.
That's a long
That look good.
I'll be 47 this year, so yeah.
That look good.
Because I noticed for me, once I started, I couldn't stop. Not everybody has that. That's only like a quarter of people where you have the once you start, you can't stop thing. And you'll know if it's in your genetics, your genealogy. So
My mom got a friend that can't stop drinking.
Maybe
she's
I-
lucky to still be alive, right? How
maybe
old
I'm
is
the
she?
child that
My
can't
mom's
stop.
about to be 50.
And how old is her friend?
I love grass. Grass.
It's
I feel
probably
like grass helps everybody.
Oh, like legal weed nowadays? Right.
Grass. I
Right.
think grass.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, we
right.
would get locked up for that shit back when we were your age. So we got in big
I don't
trouble.
understand. I thought it helps. It helps. It helps me.
Right.
personally. Not that
Well,
it
some
helps
people get it
everybody.
prescribed. So maybe it is Adderall or marijuana
I feel like
nowadays.
if
Like,
the whole world is gonna be one day, everybody will be fine.
right.
Even the angry people, they will be fine.
Well, no,
I
some
don't
people
need
be
it.
tweaking. Some people be acting crazy.
Right.
So,
And again, if you're able to handle it or do it however, more power to you. So here's
I don't, but I think they would, I do it. I don't like during the day and walking around. I only like doing that at night. 'Cause I know I'm gonna have a good sleep.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Cause it could like make you hungry, tired.
I be during the day.
different.
No, I don't be. I feel away from them.
That's
They'll catch me.
too close to that.
They'll catch me at least once or twice throughout the whole year.
Here's a sign-in sheet.
I'm scared.
That was my third time. The first two was school. I ran out the third. I'm like, no, that's too fast.
Well, I remember my freshman year when I stayed in too. I didn't remember it at the time, and I slept for like 3
Oh, you
days
could-
straight.
You gotta
cut those in half like you
told.
Nobody in the beginning. I woke up to a lot of missed calls on them.
They thought you were dead?
Off to school.
They thought you were dead.
Oh, wow.
All right. So the 8.
It's like 1,000 something.
Oh, the milligrams.
I remember-
Is it legal? Do you have to be like a certain age for it now too? Is that also?
In Detroit, we have
It depends.
dispensaries, and
Yeah.
you can't go in there unless you're 21.
Okay. So again, in whatever moderation, like whatever works for you guys. If it's not affecting school, work, jobs, whatever. But here are some of the emotional self. So making sure you process your emotions. Seek therapy when necessary. Therapy for the therapist is recommended and found to be helpful for counselors. So as crazy as it sounds, get therapy. Like it's free for you now too. Like Dr. Hunt across the street. There's 3 or 4 others. Financial self, we already mentioned, learning good financial management skills, particularly in a field where pay may be low. Humorous self, learning to use humor appropriately in the workplace. Loving self, developing an attitude, attend to genuine loving relationships that provide support. Service providers often have a tendency to give love, taking care of others without focusing on getting love. The nutritious self, listen to your body. I say drink more water, eat more vegetables. So whatever you're doing, just add more vegetables to your eating, drink more fluids. Because alcohol dehydrates you. So that could be a fluid, but for every cup of coffee, you got to drink 2 cups of water or,
No, I feel like every time we drink, and then we be like, oh, I'm chasing it. I drink water. I drink
Right.
water. So I don't get over. Yeah, it helps you not be like
That
that.
don't
drunk.
No, water tastes
No,
right.
no, it don't.
I know, I don't either.
I don't drink. Nah, I never drink my leg.
That's good.
Because I have a history of that.
Right.
My family had to drink about.
Right. So last few here, physical self. Anybody run or walk or 22 minutes a day? Yeah, they say that
I walk from here to my room.
10,000 steps.
I dance every day. Like,
Yeah, okay. We just had that yesterday. Dance therapy.
No, that's that 6 quarters.
Playful self and priority setting self. So manage your time, identify priorities, nurturing the self continues. So recreational, engage in a hobby, provide stimulation, relaxation, stress reduction self. So combating over arousal, go into nature. I always say that. Go out into the woods, turn off electronics, get away from the lights and the electricity. Develop a relaxation response, such as deep breathing. Like you can change your heart rate. Huh?
Thank you.
Anybody presenting today or Thursday on your major mental health?
I can do it today. Do I gotta turn it in on here?
Well, you turn it in onto D2L, but you could present it today, or we'll start off next class with it if you'd rather.
I'll get it over with.
What's that?
I'll get it over with while I'm in the
You're already anxious about it.
No.
Don't be anxious.
Does it have to be this week?
I gotta.
No. No, we got a few weeks, like whatever spring break is. So do it in the next few weeks. I'll keep all assignments open. What's that?
It's gonna be one of these days.
That's fine, yeah. But I'm just getting y'all. Take time to be alone. What's that? Take time. Attend to your personal beliefs. Do they have church here even anywhere? I don't even know if they. Where at? Okay. Okay.
This enough though
Before you start class out on Thursday presenting,
no, today.
you want to keep all these people like holding their bags ready to walk out the door.
It's only 155. It ain't gonna take that
I
long.
know.
That man.
You sure you don't want to start off Thursday with it? You're trying to skip on me Thursday again?
I might not even be
See,
here.
I knew it. I knew it. You can't be skipping.
Did I do enough though?
What was your? I already forgot. What was
Depression.
your depression? Okay.
And then I did the social worker's role in treatment prevention.
As long as you didn't steal it from one of your classmates from last semester.
No, because really I could have used mine from
Okay.
last semester.
Okay.
But I had
That's
a
good.
whole nother topic.
That's good. We want you always to stay up on research, up to date. Here is a meditation from the 12 and 12. You could pray this or meditate on it. It says, "Make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred, I may bring love. Where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness. Where there is discord, I may bring harmony. Where there is error, I may bring truth. Where there is doubt, I may bring faith. Where there is despair, I may bring hope. Where there is shadows, I bring light. Where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, understand than to be understood, and to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it is by forgiving that one is forgiven." Oh, I'm moving the picture now. It is by dying that one awakens to eternal life. So some people do that for like meditation and recite it slowly, like over and over, like taking that time in the morning or at the end of the day. I don't think these work anymore, but there's like mindfulness books everywhere now. Dave Ramsey has a podcast about the stuff that's going on. Uh-oh. I can't tell if this is ringing on me or not. Because it's ringing here. All right. So, all right, this is another one too. I say attend to what?
I guess they made the first flying car.
Oh, the flying cars. I've seen them. I know, that's creepy as hell. So I always say this one too.
Oh, I see it. So it just looks like
Oh shit.
Who posted it? The chat?
Yeah. They crazy. I would never hop in that.
Okay.
This is not. What's that movie called? Something Robinson's.
It's given home.
That's what it's giving.
Oh,
I'm not even going to anything that's there. Not even no plan.
it looked like a big what's the thing?
This don't even
Drone.
look like
It looked like a big drone.
No, for real.
And it's flying slow. I don't know.
I thought it was gonna be dead when that stuff got like 1,000 years. Like that's gonna happen thousands of years from there. Not today.
And they want $300,000 for it.
And I got flying cars, but can't even fly the plane.
Okay.
It's crashing left and right, but y'all want to fly cars.
It's flying too slow. I'm not about to pay to fly. And I'm moving slower than everybody else on the ground. I'm supposed to fly over traffic.
So I always say take care of like two of these three. Like say you guys ever seen a stool that has either 3 legs or 4 legs? But if one of those got knocked off or you don't take care of one, you fall over. So like physical, spiritual, emotional, intellectual, you gotta do 3. Maybe your spiritual health suffers because it's not your exact church here on campus. Maybe your intellectual health goes down a bit because you're stressed out by assignments. Maybe the physical health, like you stop working out the 3 months during the semester. Maybe emotional, social health. But don't neglect more than one of those, especially at the same time. So suggestions, you guys come up with a personal self-care plan, essentially. So use this information, develop a personal self-care plan, prevent burnout and compassion fatigue, also increase your ability to identify signs and awareness of your own stress level in your clinical practice. Any questions? Uh-oh. Do you mind going Thursday? That way we could call it quits.
Girl, come on.
Thank you. That's all I got. I just wanted to give you all time for your application.
And we just joined in on YouTube.
Yep.
Are there instructions?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, filling out the social work applications. Do you need any other assignments open? Like all of them? Okay, they're all open. So
Thank you.
The e-camera. I didn't know how to do it. And I downloaded the app that you told us to download a while ago, but I don't know how to use it. Is the life cycle app?
Thank you.
oh right. You did download it. It just tells you like flip back, it'll tell you what you do all day. Like go back
I'm good.
so usually like every day. It tells you like how much you drove. You visited 2 spots that day.
Bro, I was walking.
You drove somewhere with somebody, so it knows when you're in a car. You're probably going like 30 miles per hour. I don't know what day it
Oh, yeah,
was.
we went to the party. My birthday.
Right, yeah. But essentially, if you follow the YouTube where you turn that in, it's just like tracking what you do all day long.
Yeah. And then I was home. And then how do I do the social work application?
Did you find it? Because it will be on social work website at centralstate.edu, and you can download it.
How do I?
So start maybe just with centralstate.edu.
And do I click on the what, info for?
Oh yeah, you could search academics and then social work. It'll probably be like our college first. Then you got to click on social
Humanities,
work.
art.
Probably is
It's under colleges and schools.
yeah, yep. And then Chaz, and then Department of Social Sciences, and then the last one would be clicking social work. And then read more, and it's going to be documents, which is like
And I'm supposed to do this?
no, it's probably all the way down. It'll have that's it, forms and documents, because that'll have like application to social work program.
Oh.
I know, right?
So I gotta fill this out for real?
Yeah, you can paste it into Word, and it's just like, why do you want to be a social worker? What will you do with it? What's your job experience? And we can help you with it. We'll get it done.
So I just do,
Just a few pages.
okay, so
And you can highlight all of that and paste it into
I
Word.
don't do the transfer credits and stuff.
You don't have to. Nope.
Those do in the beginning. I'm just copying.
Yeah, you can even print it and do it by hand if
Yeah.
that's easy.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Uh-huh.
I'm having some trouble with this application.
Okay. We can help you finish it
When?
right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so who do I pick for this one?
You can say it to me because I'm the one who's making you guys do it.
Okay.
Because you want to be a social work major, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what if I haven't completed this class?
Just write incomplete.
Okay.
And it's not the end of the world.
And then what if I haven't had a job in social work?
You can like say anywhere you've worked and or volunteered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So doesn't specifically have to be social work?
No, as most of you expect you have not done something like it.
And then what about the social practice one?
What is that? The
Social work practice.
does it start here or is that what is the student statement? Your interest in like why do you want to be a social worker?
Okay.
And that's all it is. Like I had a mom who did it. I had a cousin I saw like you could help lives, you could get paid for helping others, you could do this, something like that. Does that help explain it?
I mean, but it have like agency and stuff. I don't know. They given like job experience type thing. I don't know.
Yeah, if you don't have any, it's okay. It's just asking. Like, have you ever volunteered at a camp? Have you ever done like a daycare? Have you ever helped out in school or done volunteer work?
And I what about this side? It's like essay.
Oh, you answer those 4 questions. Like,
So do I do this on Word?
you could, and we can scan it in. You can handwrite it, and I can scan it in. Whatever is easiest for you. And we'll scan it, and I'll save it under your last name, and we got it on file.
And what about this letter of recommendation?
Any of us can do it. Any social work teacher you have. Yep. Just bring it in, give us a pen, and we'll get it done in less than a half an hour.
Okay, so I give this to you on a printout.
You can, yeah, and then I can help you scan it if you don't know how to do. Do you know how to scan?
I think so. Yeah, it's an app for that, right?
Yep, Dropbox. So I always go to Dropbox. It's free. They'll try to get you to pay, but you don't have to. I get a new one, scan document, and like usually I just go like that. And then you do page number 2, scan, it scans all of it, which is nuts. So like add a page and then say scan number 2. And it gets your handwriting and then you hit save and then you can email it. It's so easy. It's kind of nice.
Okay, thank you.
And it's free, yeah. It teaches you all the stuff we need to learn how to do in social work.